Okay. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming to the Team 360 call. Today is, what is today? It's Monday, April 10th. And I just want to thank you all for coming. I hope everybody enjoyed Super Saturday this past weekend, or if you had a Super Sunday. I know Seattle had a Super Sunday and some of the other, I think Dallas did as well. But I know the event in Portland was awesome. The next Super Saturday weekend is September 23rd. So make sure you mark your calendars. I know that Portland and Seattle have already planned theirs because they both have a special guest. But all the Super Saturdays will be in that weekend of the September 23rd. Normally they have one right after Summit, but they're not going to do that this year, which is actually really nice. Just because you get back from Summit, you got all that information. And so what they're doing is they're having it in September. So make sure that you are there and you mark that on your calendar so that you've got that in there right now. And Portland's is online, Seattle is online. Amanda does Spokane, and she hosts hers usually Saturday a.m. And if you're somewhere else, I'm sure they're already like letting you know when they are. But that's the weekend, so mark it on your calendar. And also, just so you guys know, I hope you heard, but we launched 2 vegan flavors today. Cafe latte and vegan vanilla. I have been waiting for vegan vanilla. I am so excited about that, and I have so many clients that are excited too. So make sure that you're offering that to your clients. Let them know. Maybe you have clients that are on vegan and they're not big fans of chocolate or tropical, so this is a good thing to offer them. The sampler packets of those flavors are coming out May 10th. For additional information, and just because you should read it, read the FAQ 3246 on the new vegan flavors. It's in your online office. You can even go into your Coach online office and pull up your Coach breaking news, and it has all of the breaking news, and there's so much going on. So I want to make sure that you guys know that you should be checking that tab each, a couple times a week. But there's a lot of good information about Summit. You all should have got Summit emails. If you're registered for Summit, you should have got your email today telling you, hey, that this is when you're going to be able to register. They're going to launch the official tracks. You'll be able to register. If you qualify, you can register May 3rd. Otherwise, general registration for Summit for the tracks. Now that's picking your path, like what trainings you're going to go to and what times. That is going to open to the general public of coaches on May 10th. Another thing we're launching is we have a brand new super trainer named Chris Downing, and he's got the new program out. It's coming out in, I believe, May, and is that one coming? That one's coming Summit. Sorry about that. And that is, I don't know if you guys saw, it's called the Shift Shop, but oh my gosh, it looks awesome. And I've heard from some other coaches that have actually got to sample it that it is awesome. So I'm really excited for that one. FAQ 773, if you want to check that one out. I would go to YouTube and watch the video that he has. Or you can check it from your Coach Online office. There's another program that they're going to be launching that's called UV2, and that's the one that comes out May 16th, and that's good for people that are beginning their fitness journey. There's also like a kid portion of that, and it looks really fun and easy, and it's accessible, relatable, and not at all intimidating. So you guys, that's a really good thing. It's created by Leandro, who created the Brazil butt lift. It looks pretty fun. The FAQ is 2658, but that's a good one to offer people that are, just starting out or maybe nervous about working out. Right now, a lot of times we'll put them on like Slim and 6. And then, they want another option. And how cool is it that we have Beachbody on demand? So as soon as they go live, you will have access to them. That's the great thing about Beachbody on demand. So you also know that Beachbody on demand and Shakeology, that challenge pack, is discounted right now to $160 for April. That is a steal. So you're basically getting a bag of Shakeology. You're getting the 12 months all access, pass to the Netflix of fitness, which is all the Beachbody programs. And you're going to get those new programs that launch. You're going to get all the upgrades. So that's a great thing for customers. I feel like if the only reason I would offer them something different is if they don't have good Wi-Fi or they prefer DVDs. Like actually a customer the other day who's like, I just like DVDs. We live in the country. Our Wi-Fi is horrible. That is like not normal. So most of us have great Wi-Fi. And so I just said, okay, I totally get it. But I would offer that. And then remember the Kickstarter. So you would get all of that plus a 3-day refresh is only $205 right now. And that is an amazing deal because the refresh, I don't know about you guys, but it's one of my favorite things. I'll be doing that real shortly here right before we go to the Dominican Republic. I always do it right before I leave because it gets all that bloat down. So that's, those are some options you can offer people. We're really heading into the busy season. So make sure that you're getting your invites out and that you are following up with people. All those people that said no during the beginning of the year and Christmas, summer's around the corner. I put an invite in Team 360. I put it in there last week and I've been using it. I know a lot of other people have, but I put my whole process in there of the invites I'm using. So feel free to make that your own or copy it and just be reaching out to people. So many people that were no's are now saying yes. So it's a great time. Another thing is if you're going to Summit, make sure that if you don't have a ticket yet, there are some coaches that are offering theirs up for sale because they're not able to go. And Amanda just messaged me and said she has a friend with a ticket that's only $145. It's available. So if Summit, that's a steal. So if somebody is like, I was kind of on the fence, I would jump on that ticket. And I think that there's a couple other people that might have tickets as well. But I would, if you are serious about this business, I would make it to Summit. I did a video last week about it. Events are so important. I've been a coach for 5 years, you guys. My first year going to Summit, I was still nursing a baby. I didn't know anybody. I barely knew my upline. We squished a bunch of people in a room. And I had no idea what we were getting into because Jessie was my upline. I barely knew her and she'd never been. And then she didn't know her upline because she was a free lead to that person. And so we just went like totally knowing nothing and no one. And it was amazing. And obviously it changed our lives because we both have great businesses that support our families now. So, and I know that it was taking that step, which was scary. It was a huge thing that like just going and leaving my kids with my husband who worked a lot of hours. So I had to find childcare for them. It was a sacrifice, but obviously it's a sacrifice that paid off because I took what I learned there and applied it. And I haven't met anybody that went to Summit yet that said, oh, that was really a waste of my time, unless they chose not to go to the trainings or something silly like that. But all the coaches on the wake up calls, all the top coaches, they always make it a priority to go. I plan things around it because they always tell you when the dates are going to be at that summit. So I make sure to plan our family vacations around it. And this year my husband will be in Asia for a nonprofit that we have, and he isn't able to go. And I would love to be in Asia with him, but my priority is my business and supporting my family and most importantly, my team. So I'm going to Summit. And our childcare for our kids is going to be pretty interesting, but we make it work because if you have a job and your employer tells you to be at a conference or a meeting, do you go? Yes. They say your job depends on it. You need to be there. You always go. So if you're going to do that for your boss, why wouldn't you do that for yourself and for your business? So that's my spiel on Summit, just because don't go for me, go for you. Go for your goals, go for your family, go for what you want to have happen in your future. My future is great. Like I got, my business is good. And so don't do it for me. I'm telling you to do it for you and for what you want to accomplish, because that's how you're going to get what you want. All right. So that was my spiel on that. So again, if you want to go and you're like, I'm scared, don't be. Like, we have such a great team. There's so many of us there and everybody's in the same position. It's in a new location this year. So like, I don't know the location very well at all. I hear it's great. I'm excited to go to New Orleans for the first time, though. I'll tell you that. But it'll be a good time. We're going to have fun. And I will get shirts made again like last year. I'll get on that and make sure that everybody has an opportunity to get one if they're going. All right. Okay, well, let's get started here. I am really excited. Kirsten actually reached out to me and was like, hey, I really want to share on the team call. I have something really important I want to share with them. And I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And so she's going to be talking about the power of visual thinking and, punch limiting beliefs in the face. And I think this is going to be, I know Kirsten, I've known her personally for a long time. She was a discount coach for a long time, and then she was a business coach, and she's had a lot of things happen in her life. And I'm so excited to hear what you have to say tonight, Kirsten. So go ahead and take it away, girl.
Okay, so I need to figure out how to share my screen. Let's do that real quick. Have a slideshow so that I stay on task. Because if you guys have been on my calls before, can you guys see my screen? Can anybody see my screen? You're all frozen.
Not yet.
What happened?
Oh, there you go, girl. It's on there.
I got it now.
Can you guys hear me? Oh.
Yep.
No?
I can hear you.
You can see my screen? You all like froze.
Yeah.
Okay. Can everyone hear me?
I can hear you and see you.
Ramble. Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. So I have a tendency to ramble, so there's a lot more verbiage on the slideshow than I may say out loud, but it keeps me on task with the recording at the end. But so I want to go over something that clicked for me a few weeks ago, or actually about a week ago. And something that I was using that I didn't realize I was using until I had a conversation with Tanya's husband, Scott, who always seems to, bring out the best in me. So that was awesome. I realized that I was already using this trick and I hadn't even realized that it was something I was doing. So I needed to share it with you guys because it was already increasing so many parts of my business. It was increasing, my dedication. It was increasing my systems. It was increasing my confidence and my consistency. So I want to go over the main thing I want to talk about is visual thinking, but also how it relates to some of the limiting beliefs that we have and how those limiting beliefs tend to destroy our productivity. So the first thing that we should cover is what exactly are limiting beliefs, in case nobody knows them. So I'm going to be kind of quick when I go over this, but limiting beliefs are things that hold us back. So just by believing it about ourselves, and oftentimes we don't even realize we have them, they hold some sort of power over us in what we do, what we think, and what we say, how we interact with other people in our career or in our coaching business, or even in our family life or personal relationships. They control our actions and our outcomes. So most of us have beliefs about our rights as a human being, or our duties in our family or our life, or our abilities, or what permissions we have to do what, and so on. But limiting beliefs are usually most common about ourselves or our self-identity and what we're capable of. They can also be about other people or about the world around us, but most common, they pertain to our own self-identity. So in any case, they limit our potential, therefore obviously limiting belief. So I'm going to go over a little bit about those here in the future. So I wanted you to have a good idea of kind of what a limiting belief is. I know a lot of us have gone through a lot of self-help and probably have a pretty good grasp of it, but just a quick little blurb about it. The other thing I want to cover is like, what is visual thinking? Now, I know this isn't the correctation, is more accurate. I'm picturing yourself as though you've already attained your long-term goal. So whether you're a brand new coach or a diamond or whatever, whether your long-term goal is to be a diamond coach or even an emerald coach, or to help your family be more healthy, or to be a 15-star diamond, whatever your long-term goal is in this business, act as though you've already achieved that goal. A lot of you have probably already heard dress for success. Show up at the office every day already prepared for the position that you want, not for the position that you have. And part of this business is constantly preparing yourself for the position that you want and not acting as though you're in the position you have. The position we have often is new coach or emerald coach, but the position that we want is leader and successful business owner and CEO. And if we are I'll get more into it, but we're oftentimes limiting ourselves if we're not dressing for success, we're not treating our business in the way that it will be successful. All top performers, regardless of any profession, in all professions, they know the importance of picturing themselves in success in their mind before they actually do it in reality. I'm sure you've all read plenty of, our personal development books that talk about it. It started in sports, and it's translated now in, the 20th century. It's translated over to business, but it's something athletes have been doing for hundreds of years. So some examples are Muhammad Ali, which I think we've all probably heard him mentioned in some personal development here and there, but he was always stressing the importance of seeing himself victorious long before he actually got into the ring and had the fight. Jim Carrey's another one. Before he was famous, when he was just a struggling kid, he used to picture himself being the greatest actor in the world. And he talks about that in many speeches that I've listened to. And it's pretty interesting to think about, because what is he now? Literally one of the most successful actors in the world. Michael Jordan always took the last shot in his mind before he ever even took one shot on the court in real life. And he also talks a lot about that. So these are just some basic famous performers. We have a lot of successful coaches, along with a lot of other top performers that have mastered the technique and talk about positive visualization, and they openly credit their success to it. So when you think of a big goal that you want to achieve, it's natural. Like mine personally, which I'll talk a little bit about, is that I'm going to be a 15-star diamond. That's scary. It's natural for obstacles to come up in my brain. It's natural for me to put up fences and to put up, fear, and to feel like even just getting on this call and talking about it, like I'm getting like nervous just saying it out loud to all of you, because now you all can hold me accountable to that. It's scary. There's room for failure, and it's terrifying. So obviously we're going to have obstacles. The problem is that we often allow the obstacles in our mind to become so big that they create a cycle of limiting beliefs, and they inhibit our ability to succeed. So for me personally, this is what happened. My business started to change when I realized that I was stressing out about I'm going to be a 15-star diamond. Can you guys see me? My computer just said it was unstable. Okay, just making sure. I'm going to be a 15-star diamond. Yet I was treating myself and seeing myself as a new coach and relying on Tanya and Tanya's coach sneak peeks or her trainings or her videos, which is great. And that's what your upline is for. But I've been a coach for over a year. I am a diamond coach. I am an emerald coach, a ruby coach. I have the rank. I am going to be a 15-star diamond. So I was putting all of my pressure on growing these new coaches and clients underneath me. So when I would lose a coach, like I went through a time last year where I lost a couple coaches, and I just let my rank fall, and I just felt like I couldn't get it back, felt like I was a failure. I know none of you have ever gone through this. couldn't figure out how to get back up on the horse again. Like if I had invested so much in this one person and they didn't see what this business was about and what I saw in them, then why was I even a good leader? That was one of my limiting beliefs, was leadership, like seeing myself as a leader. When in reality, one coach or one customer does not make up our business. When one person stops drinking Starbucks is fine. They don't even blink an eye. Why? Because they're consistent. Every day they're delivering the same service, the same marketing, everything's the same. They're consistent every single day, the same hours, the same drink. You know what you're getting every time you go. So when one person stops drinking it, 3 more start. When a 15-star diamond coach loses one coach, does she just fail? I mean, is her business going to fail? Is her income going to drastically change that month? No, because she's consistent, or he, and they're going to get 3 more coaches or 5 more coaches or 10 more coaches. Or if they lose one customer, if you lose one customer now, in the big picture, the big scheme of things, if you're being consistent every single day, it doesn't matter. And I'm not saying we shouldn't pour our best coaching into our customers and our coaches that we currently have. I'm just saying that we need to look at it reality, and in reality, in the big scheme of things, that one person is not making us up as a coach or making up our team. So if I'm doing the same thing every day, if we all are, that we know we should be doing, our business will keep growing. Even if every last coach we have right now quits and we're just sitting there as a coach rank, we've lost everything. We can regrow. That's the beauty of this business. We can regrow from the bottom with consistency every single day. Don't get away from the power of the basics. I was allowing myself to create this limiting belief by creating this bigger obstacle than was actually in front of me. The obstacle was not that the obstacle wasn't that I was losing coaches and I wasn't a good leader. The obstacle was that I wasn't being consistent and continuing every day in the same activities that were going to bring me new coaches and new customers. That makes sense. Hopefully you can follow. So how do you use visualization to get through this? Well, first of all, you want to sit down and think about your goal. So like I said, for me, 15-star. I also have very specific income goals. I mean, you can break your goal down in whatever level you want it to be. I have very specific goals for my family and what that means it's going to do for our budget, or what that means it's going to do for our kids or my husband's business. So what will it take to get there? What sacrifices are you going to have to make? I mean, lay your goal out there, be raw about it so that you can own it. How can you handle those obstacles and still have enough to make it all the way to the finish line? And the key is you have to make your vision more positive and stronger than the limiting beliefs that you have on yourself. If you can't picture yourself achieving a goal, chances are you're not going to. I mean, if you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. We've heard that, right? So if I can't actually picture myself as a 15-star diamond, then I am not already I'm cutting myself off at the knees before I've even started working towards my goal. The more vivid you can get, the better your vision's going to work for you and your business. Start thinking about business and personal goals. Like I said, I talk about when I'm visualizing my goal of 15-star diamond, it's not just a number of diamonds I have underneath me. It's so much deeper. How is that going to affect my family? How am I going to feel? How's it going to change the course of my life? How am I going to change the course of other people's lives through that goal? Remember, all those little details, they increase the likelihood of the big picture becoming a reality. They create an actual visualization of what you as a 15-star, or you as whatever your goal is, whatever that looks like. Make it as visualizing as possible. So what does it matter? Well, obviously, as entrepreneurs, most coaches are most of us are in the early stages of entrepreneurship, and our business depends on productivity. I know not everybody comes into this business without much cash flow or resources being limited, but most of us do. Most of us start out because we want more cash flow, because we want to have more to put into things. So that means that we need to leverage the hell out of our time. It means that we need to be taking in all the success tips Tanya's giving us, the Empower Hour, making sure that the time we're using, we're consistent and doing those daily behaviors every single day. unfortunately, if we're allowing our limiting beliefs to be in there, they're deadly to us, because what do? We all know this. They lower our aspirations. So when I started losing coaches, I started thinking, well, how the hell am I going to be a 15-star diamond when I can't even create 1 diamond? My aspirations got low. Self-sabotaging habits. So then I wasn't consistent every day. I wasn't working out every day. I wasn't checking in with my coaches every day, and then I lost more coaches. I mean, you create self-sabotaging habits the more you allow your limiting beliefs to take over. You increase procrastination. I would spend a power 4 hours, which was a lie. I never actually did a full power hour in my 4 hours of being online. I paid bills and I checked in with people on Facebook, but I was never actually sitting down. I mean, I highly recommend using a timer. Tanya's right. Like, I don't know if you have the same issue, but it saved my life. The Empower Hour coupled with a timer, and procrastination can kiss my ass, in all honesty. They drain our energy. I mean, you're exhausted because you're spinning your wheels, but you're not getting anywhere, because you're not doing the vital behaviors that you need to be doing to get where you want to be, because you're constantly in a negative headspace. Instead of visualizing yourself as who you're going to be, you're thinking about who you currently are or aren't. So how do we eliminate those beliefs? Well, I'm not going to, obviously this is a lot of verbiage, and like I said, I'll post it, but basically the bottom line is we want to carve out time, like I would say as soon as possible. We're probably all struggling with this. Half an hour or so to identify what your inner self-limiting beliefs are, and then write them down. And some of them are going to be really, really intense. Maybe for some of us, they go way back and they have a lot of pain and emotional triggers, but most of them you're going to be able to knock out, pretty quickly if you can actually just figure out what they are. For me, it was pertaining to my leadership. I also have limiting beliefs that pertain to my finances, as many of us do. So pick one self-limiting belief to work on at a time. So you're not going to be able to focus on all of them at once. It's best to start with like your easiest one that you know is false. And how do you figure out that it's false? Well, you think about why you believe it, and then try and figure out parts of your life where it hasn't been accurate. So for instance, reflect on times in your life where you've had experiences that reinforce the belief. Try and go back as early as you can. So for me, there's leadership failures and things that I've struggled with, things that I've had in my life that, public speaking, or not even as small as like, oh, I always, sweat really bad whenever I had to give a speech in front of people. So now obviously I get anxious when I have to talk in front of people. Like, I'm anxious right now. I'm probably talking a mile a minute. I'm sorry, but it's just, it's part of that limiting belief system. And then gather the evidence that suggests it's false. So think of things in your life when it's not true, like a statement that isn't true. Like, I've had coaches tell me I'm a great leader. I've had customers tell me that. I've had friends tell me that. I've had people online. I've gotten A's on tests where I've had to give speeches, right? Try and debunk that limiting belief and what it is. Just find spots in your life where it wasn't true. And then you neutralize it with your positive visualization. So this is where they kind of meld together. Chances are that your limiting beliefs are part of your psychology, and there's something that have been a part of you for longer than coaching, but coaching has brought them out, because in coaching, we step way outside our comfort zone on a daily basis, which is full of triggering situations. So it's most common that they're very deeply embedded in us, and it's going to take that positive visualization that we talked about creating, who you want to be as a coach. And then that has to be stronger than your limiting belief. And once you name it, once you call it out, you can debunk it and get rid of it and move past it. So what I would recommend is to immediately counteract the belief the minute you start to feel, if you start feeling that way. Like, if I start to think, oh, I shouldn't do this call, I'm not a leader, like, I'm not a top leader on Tanya's team, like, I'm not good at public speaking, and I start thinking that way again, I need to immediately pull out this image, and this is what I did, you guys, of, no, I'm a 15-star diamond, and I'm going to share this call with my team someday when I have a team as big as Tanya's. and you visualize yourself successfully leading that team or successfully working hard to make it a reality. And then rinse, lather, repeat. Do it again and again and again with every limiting belief you have, and constantly allow your visualization tactics to be stronger and more positive than the negativity that your limiting beliefs are bringing you. So so don't put all your eggs in one basket. So this is a little bit specific about coaching and about my situation, but I've talked to quite a few coaches on our team, and I know that it's something we all tend to struggle with. So a mistake that many of us are making is that we're placing all of our personal success, the stress of our personal success, on the success of our current coaches or customers. And if they quit or leave, then we feel drained or discouraged or farther from our goals. And we feel like maybe we're not cut out for coaching if they don't see in them what we see in them, or if they don't see what there is in this business. But if you talk to any top coach, they've lost, I don't know, tens to hundreds of coaches and customers, and people are in and out. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't be giving them all your very best coaching ability, but in reality, we need our team to succeed, and our team should be constantly growing if we are constantly doing our daily proven consistent. So if I lose one coach, it's going to hurt, it's going to sting, especially if I had, high ambitions for them. But in reality, if I'm being consistent, 3 more coaches are coming up that pipeline, and they're going to need me, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing no matter how high up in my diamond ranking I get. I always will maintain consistency, because that is how the wheel just keeps turning. So if we take our focus off of stressing when someone quits or doesn't see the opportunity that we're offering them, and we turn our focus on to our big picture goal, not what today's goal is or this week's goal, because we already know they've offered us all these success tips. So we already know those are important, but not focusing on today's goal or this week's goal or even this month's goal, but who are we going to be in Beachbody? What are we going to accomplish as a coach? Who am I going to be on the stage at Summit someday? Or am I just going to be, am I going to be just a coach rank? Like, I need to know that before I figure out what my consistent daily behaviors are going to be. I'm going to be a 15-star diamond, and I'm going to be on stage talking to thousands of people someday at Summit. This will be my first Summit I'm going to this year, so I might take that back once I see how crazy it is. But for now, that's my goal. So what could happen if we decide to run our business today as if we're already a 15-star diamond? I mean, what could happen in your daily activity? Would you be more productive? I guarantee you would. Would you be more consistent and on task? Yes. I mean, the minute I see myself that way, everything else falls into place, because when I'm a 15-star diamond, I don't have time to spend 4 hours dilly-dallying on the internet, and I don't have time to be scrolling through my newsfeed. I need to be consistent, and I need to focus on the bigger picture, and so do all of us. So the biggest tip that I've taken away in the last couple of months of reigniting my fire and really being successful is visualization. Figure out who you are in Beachbody, not who you are right now, but who you're going to be, what you're going to accomplish, and then act in such a way that you're already that person. Not fake it till you make it in a, I'm not going to tell people I'm a 15-star diamond. I'll tell you guys that, because it's not true, and I'm saying it inspiringly about myself. I'm not going to tell other people, I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to act as such. If that's who I'm going to be, that's who I am now. And that's, I guess, I don't know, that's been the biggest tip for me in my business. So I just wanted to share it with you guys, and I don't really have a great wrap up, but does anybody have any questions?
I think that was great, Kirsten. I really appreciate you sharing, because I know that visualization is powerful, and that's, something that I've used in my own life, is I see myself actually completing that goal. And I know that when I went, for 5-star elite, the first time I visualized myself walking across the stage at Summit, and I visualized what it would feel like, as a 5-star diamond. Now that I'm going for 15-star this year, I've been thinking like, okay, I got to think like that. You know, it doesn't matter what level you are at the business. You always need to be visualizing yourself at that. And one of my mentors, when I first started, he said, it's a very inexpensive business to start, but don't treat it like that. He's like, you know, basically you could sign up and just pay $40 for the coach fee, but he treated it as a, you know, $1 million business from day one. And like he invested 6 figures, which most businesses, if you've ever started another company, that's what it does cost. And, you know, that's how he ended up at the Millionaires Club and how he's been so successful is, you know, it's how you think and how you treat things and visualize yourself. And this was great. Thank you. And I love how you defined the limiting beliefs and everything, because it's so true. The business works, you plug in, and it's your mind that can get you all messed up. So, and making sure you're spending the time on the right activities. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Does anybody have any questions? You are welcome to unmute yourself to ask a question, or you can raise your hand and I will unmute you. Anybody? Nobody? That's great. Awesome. Yeah. Amanda said, fabulous call. Kelly said, loved it. Thank you. Vicky said, great job. I can see you being a leader in a 15-star diamond. So can I. This was awesome. Anybody have any questions for Kirsten? Okay. I think you covered it all, Missy. It was awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, I loved, Gina just said, thank you. Loved your Starbucks analogy. It's true. Somebody stops buying. And you guys, that's true. Like, I don't know if you realize this, but I get all the cancellations for the downline. And you know, we have a team over 2,000. So when someone cancels, not only do you get an email, but I get CC'd on it. So let me just tell you what some days my email looks like. And if I let my head go to that, I would make myself crazy. And I've had full-on coaches quit, like that were successful, that were making real incomes. And, you know, and my only thing really, guys, what happens is my heart just breaks because I'm like, oh, they gave up on themselves and their dreams. Or, you know, depending on what the situation is. But most of the time it's like, darn it, because I know how that story goes. I see, you know, I've seen it over the 5 years, and I've seen people like try like a million other things or you know, and they come back and they're like, yeah, your program works. So don't get discouraged when you have someone quit, because you know, like I started with 5, you know, my 5 core diamonds, and they're not all still diamond, and they're not all still actively coaching. So just so you guys know that. And I just go with it. You know, there's so many people out there that need help and that want this opportunity. And, you know, I don't know if you saw my post, but I met with a friend who has told me no for a long time, and she's considering it because, let's just face it, corporates not doing people favors right now. They've been doing it. A lot of big corporations have been doing a ton of layoffs, and a lot of things are moving to other countries and online. And, you know, and she's like, I just can't imagine going into another corporate job after what just happened. And at my age, she's like, I want something, you know, that's going to help people and provide a residual income for my family. So, and I totally agree with that, because you just, you know, you're in more control when you own your own company. Let me see here. Oh yeah. So yeah, she said with the Starbucks analogy, she said if one person stops drinking Starbucks, they don't stop doing what they're doing. They still show up and stay consistent, and then new people start drinking Starbucks. It's true.
Because I stopped drinking like a year and a half ago when I started coaching or whatever, and they don't give a fuck.
Well, I stopped drinking, and so did Scott. And then when we would go and we'd buy our kids treats. So, I mean, we were spending like a ridiculous amount of money at Starbucks that they just lost. But I'm like, found a lot more money in my budget.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Now if I could just get my son to stop drinking Dutch Bro, we'd be on the
Well, thank you guys very much for letting me talk.
You guys are awesome. Thanks for coming tonight. And I hope everybody has a good week. And remember to go and check your coach, your coach news, your breaking news in there, and your coach online office. There's tons of stuff in there right now, and it's all good. And if you didn't listen to the National Wake Up Call yet today, make sure you catch the replay. The replay is also in there as well, so you can get that. All right, everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you on the page. Bye-bye.